There we go. Should be working. You guys hear me okay? I hope so. It's just me tonight. I have no special guest at the moment, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about. I thought I would do a live stream, and then if anybody's watching this on playback, you will get a chance to listen to what we have to talk about here. It's probably going to be a slower night. Let me take down my picture here, or my stream picture here. It's probably going to be a slower night because there was no arrow, so a lot of people were probably not prepared to stop in. Hello, Call Me Amino and Cubanito. How are you guys doing? We might get some more people here in a moment, so I'm going to give them a second to get in. So anyway, how are you guys doing? How is your Thursday? It's kind of weird not having an arrow to watch since it came on Monday. But I took a couple days off. I didn't make any videos for, I didn't do a video today. So yeah, I was like, I'm going to take some time off to come up with some new content for the weekend. So I've got a couple things coming out. But yeah, we got a couple things that have happened this past week. Two of them related to Crisis, and one of them an update to some information with Andrew Kreisberg. And we're going to talk about all three of those in this video. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, should I go live? I don't know. People knew Arrow wasn't on, so I didn't think that we would have a big influx of people. But I thought that it would definitely be worth it to stop in and chat with you guys for a bit. So, Battlefront 2. I was kind of skeptical on getting Battlefront 2. Not because of the loot crate thing, but I've heard that the linear, like the single player story isn't very long. And I'm more of a single player person. So, yeah, I would use the multiplayer once in a while, but the single player, the actual content for that, didn't seem like it had a lot to it. So I was a little bit concerned about that. I didn't know if I wanted to pay, full price for that or whatever. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. If some people come in, they can come in. So, Andrew Kreisberg is the first story I want to talk about. So, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? As you guys know, about a month ago, Andrew Kreisberg had 19 people accuse him of misconduct at work. And I say misconduct because it was a wide variety of stuff. Like if you go back and you read the counts of things that happened, it was a lot of different things. So it's hard to be very specific about exactly what they found or what they dug up about this whole story. So he was basically relieved of duty based on the 19 accusations against him. They didn't fire him right away. And there's a reason for that. Andrew Kreisberg and Mark Guggenheim were the main writers and people that did this Crisis event. So what happened was they knew if they were to do anything to him legally other than just put him on leave before Crisis came out, it would be problems. So they needed to let that happen. And I said this back when when we got this story came out, like at the very beginning, that we would not hear anything until after Crisis was over with. And it was less than a day later when they announced the news. So let's go. I'm going to pop this up on the screen. Let's read what Warner Brothers had to say about this, about in regards to Andrew Kreisberg, because it's rather interesting, the wording of this. Take this down real quick. It says, after a thorough investigation, Warner Brothers Television Group has terminated Andrew Kreisberg's employment effective immediately. Greg Berlanti will assume additional responsibilities on both The Flash, where he'll work closely with executive producer and co-showrunner Todd Helbing, and Supergirl, where he'll work closely with executive producers and co-showrunners Robert Robner and Jessica Queller. We will remain committed to providing a safe working environment for our employees and everyone involved with our production. And then it goes on to say down here, Warner Brothers Television Group recently concluded its investigation into the allegations against Andrew Kreisberg. We encouraged and supported this investigation. We believe and support the individuals who came forward, and we agree with the studio's decision. Nothing is more important to us than the safety and well-being of all of our colleagues, co-workers, staff, and crew alike. So that's a very ambiguous response. I mean, yeah, they're addressing what happened, but they're not telling us what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So we're in a situation where they've let him go, and they have said that Greg Berlanti is basically going to take over and help. But Greg Berlanti is not going to be, he's not going to be there like for good. Like Greg Berlanti is not going to be hands-on. He's helping out in the meantime. But I'm going to suspect that we're going to hear a replacement announced for Andrew Kreisberg sometime during the break. Hey, what's up, Victor? Hello, everybody. Thank you for all the shout outs and stuff. Kyle, we'll talk about that in a bit. I'll do some of those questions after I get through these topics. It's really interesting because this is why it's a huge problem with Andrew Kreisberg. Because Andrew Kreisberg, literally as the showrunner, was in charge of the main stories for both The Flash and Supergirl, along with the co-showrunners that he had. So anything that Andrew was planning that was not put on paper, they're probably not going to be able to use it. So if all of the ideas and stuff that he was going to use for the rest of the season are up in his head, we're probably not going to see any of that come to be. Not only because the studio doesn't know what that could be, but if he only mentioned it to other people and they use it without giving him credit or paying him for it, then chances are he could do something about it. So I suspect that we're going to see a new showrunner come in. They may promote the show co-runner. I keep saying show co-runners. Co-showrunners up a level and let them take over and let them run it. A promotion would be the easiest thing to do because all the individuals already kind of know or have an idea of what they're going to do with the rest of the season. If they bring in somebody from the outside, it would drastically change the direction of the seasons for both The Flash and Supergirl. Greg Berlanti is the interim showrunner. It's his production. He's stepping in for the time being. But I can tell you right now, and I know I'm right about this, Greg Berlanti is not going to stay on all the way to the end of the season. Greg Berlanti will promote someone or pull someone in to work on the properties. Greg Berlanti has not worked this closely with shows in a very long time. I don't think he wants to go back to doing that. And some people are saying Mark Guggenheim. Well, see, the thing with Mark Guggenheim is Mark Guggenheim, as far as I know, isn't under investigation. Andrew Kreisberg was under investigation. And I almost feel like whatever they found with Andrew Kreisberg must have been pretty bad for them to let him go. I don't even know if it took the whole 2 weeks. It's only been about 3 weeks since this came out. But I'm assuming that they dragged that investigation on strictly to get past this crisis event. So I assume that that they probably found something pretty bad. And I don't know if we're ever going to know what that is unless somebody leaks it out. I don't think there'll be an official statement about that. But what do you guys think about that? And anybody that's watching this on playback, let me know in the comments what you think about Andrew Kreisberg and this whole situation with him. Because I'm really curious to know if anybody is not happy about what he was doing with the shows. Because everything, like the lighter tone on The Flash and the changes to Supergirl, all of that was a brainchild of Andrew Kreisberg. So we have that to deal with. I'm kind of curious now if this is going to affect any long-term plans. Because we know that both Rain and the Thinker are in game for the seasons. So I'm just curious if this is going to change the way they're going to handle those characters, if it's going to change the direction of the stories. Because if he didn't tell the other showrunners what he had planned, they literally have to just come up with it themselves. And that could be a disaster. Or it could be the best thing ever. Maybe the plans that he had were not good to begin with, and the people that are taking over now, or whoever they bring in, will have a better idea for what they could bring to the show. So you hope the shows don't suck after this mess. Vash, that's the thing, is I understand why he's gone. I get it. I totally, their decision is they probably found something that they needed to let him go for, and I understand that. But yeah, it's going to be a scramble. It is scramble time right now, but they're not going to let us know that because we're almost at the mid-season. They have over a month to get things together. So we're going to see where it goes with that. Yeah, Phil, I agree. Mark removed his message there. Uh, and a lot of people were wondering if they would promote Mark Guggenheim, but I don't think they want to give one person that much responsibility over that many shows. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be. Okay, so let's get to something less dreadful and more fun. Crisis on Earth X versus Justice League. Now, this is something that popped up immediately after the first night. There's a lot of people who were telling me they thought that the Crisis on Earth X event was better than the Justice League. And there was even some articles about it. So let's take a look here really quick at one of the articles and see. So here's an article, and the title says, "What Crisis on Earth X got right that Justice League didn't." And it goes down here. Let me see if I can find the piece of the article here. Okay, so this is the one that kind of stood out to me. It says, the CW and CBS for a season did this by simply taking their time, a luxury uniquely afforded to them by the very nature of episodic content. But that doesn't mean WB's films can't take note. It's fair to say DC shot itself in the foot by trying to play catch up with Marvel and fast tracking the DCEU. Batman v Superman crammed its titular heroes, Wonder Woman, Doomsday, Lex Luthor, Mother Boxes, and Steppenwolf into a single film without providing any legitimate sense of gravity to the story. As funny as "I thought she was with you" is as a line, it's actually pretty damning recognition of the fact that BVS handled its holy trinity like a bunch of random action figures thrown into a toy box and shaken around for fun. The initial joy of these things is seeing our characters on screen together, running around and saving the world, but it's their interactions with one another that make the narratives compelling and robust. And this is quite a big article. I'm going to link all this in the info box after the stream is over with. And then it goes on to say here, but you can't really have strong character interactions in a film where the audience doesn't exactly know who the characters are. Wonder Woman and Man of Steel, to a lesser extent, did the important work of teaching us who their heroes were as individuals within the context of a shared universe. That's one of the many reasons Diana's interactions with the other heroes in Justice League stand out, because audiences have a strong sense of her personality and where she's coming from. The same isn't quite true of Superman, because Man of Steel never quite got beyond imbuing the DCEU's Clark with definitive personality, but that's a conversation for another day. So this is quite interesting to me, because they're basically saying that the reason why Crisis on Earth X is a better team up is simply because we got to know the characters way better before they came together. So what do you guys think about that? And I've been saying this for a long time. I love origin stories. They're not always necessary. Like, for example, if you look at Civil War, we met both the new Spider-Man and Black Panther in that movie. But they did a pretty good job of using those characters in a smart way. Spider-Man to a lesser extent, probably because they thought everybody already knows who Spider-Man is. Whereas Black Panther did a little bit better in terms of storytelling with that character. But we knew like all the rest of the characters. And with Crisis on Earth X, it was kind of the same way. We met a new version of Captain Cold and Citizen Cold. We met the Ray. We met some alt versions of other characters. But the characters that we have known and we've been watching for years, they came together and we saw them all function as a team to some extent. I mean, there were breakups here and there with small pockets, but we did see them together as a team. Whereas with Justice League, they had such a short amount of time to introduce us to more than 50% of the characters. You know, Batman, we barely got to meet Batman in BVS. And then they changed his personality in Justice League. And then, of course, we met Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. So it's kind of interesting to me to see how this is going. There's been a lot of drama within the DC community in general. And I've seen this quite a bit. Since I enjoy both DC and Marvel content, I kind of skate the internet for both things. The Marvel community is less, I don't know, I don't want to say that, like, we're talking about the individual community, Marvel on Marvel community. When it comes to the TV division and the movie division, there is some, dissension between the two groups. But for the most part, nobody really argues that much about it, simply because everybody kind of understands where it lays. But with the DC community, when it comes to the TV stuff versus the movie stuff, there's always a really passionate, anger between the two groups. And I've noticed that because whenever I make comments or I talk about something in terms of it, no, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. But I'm just saying the between the two properties is because they are disconnected, because Marvel properties are connected, and I use that term very loosely. DC fans tend to bicker between each other when it comes to, the properties. So I will say this though, and maybe this is what they're trying to say. I did enjoy Crisis on Earth X much more than I did Justice League. And it is probably because I know those characters better, and we have been waiting for it. So as far as that goes, I think that there is a little weight to that story. I don't think it's going to be that way for everybody. Some people may find Justice League to be amazing, and they don't watch the DC TV shows. So for those people coming into Crisis on Earth X, they would be even more lost than we would be going into Justice League. Say, for example, you don't watch the TV properties and you turn on Crisis on Earth X. You would have no idea what's going on. It would be fun, but you would come out of that the same way someone going into Justice League not knowing who the other characters are. So I think it really just comes from terms of, a subjective viewpoint. Hello, what's up, Swag Money? We're going to talk about that here in a second. What do you guys think about that, though? Do you think, in your personal opinion, if you've seen both, do you think that Crisis on Earth X was better than Justice League? I enjoyed it more, but I think that goes along with the fact that I've been watching these characters for a really long time. I'm going to do a video about Infinity War, but I'm not going to do like a trailer reaction because I've already watched the trailer 50 times. But I'm going to go through some high-res photos and talk about my opinions on it. And that'll probably be my Monday video for Marvel, since there's only one show really coming back, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tomorrow night, which I am excited about. You broke your toe, Julie? That's not fun. That's not fun at all. Yes, I've watched the trailer 50 times. I love it. I love the MCU. So for me, I'm really excited about it. Right, call me Amino. That's what I was saying. In Crisis, you know what the multiverse, and introduced the idea early on. Justice League went in deep and with a complex plot. Yes, Harvester. That's a good point. Yeah, you can watch. Wait, did somebody say you have to see Spider-Man: Homecoming to watch Thor? You don't have to do that. Okay, so before we start having a general chat, let's talk about the worst wedding guest ever. Now, I probably had so many negative comments about my thoughts on this. And I had several people that said they were unsubscribing from me because I gave my opinion about it. Let's talk about Felicity. And this is, before I get into this is spoiler territory. So if you have not seen the end of Crisis on Earth X and you're watching this on playback, you may want to watch that before you come back to this, because this is going to spoil something for the end of the crossover. All right. Just fair warning. All right, so we're going to talk about the worst wedding guest ever now. This is actually pretty funny. So this is another article that I came across, and it says, Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke are Earth's worst wedding guest. And here at the very beginning of this article, it says, Arrow's Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke might be good at saving the world, but they're inconsiderate a-holes when it comes to wedding etiquette. And then it goes down here. Let me go down to the bottom here. Where's it at? Let's see. It says here, these people are seriously the worst. A wedding that was one of the most anticipated events of the year for DC CW-verse fans. CW-verse, that's the first time I've seen that. Was ruined by Oliver and Felicity. They chose to selfishly interrupt their friend on one of the most important days of their lives with their own dramatic BS. There's a lot of curse words in this article, over and over and over again, culminating into the stealing the spotlight for a marriage a marriage brought under duress. Screw you guys. I hope you don't get any presents. So it seems like people are not happy with what happened with Oliver and Felicity at the end of Crisis. Now, I did a live stream with Paigey. We talked about it quite a bit, and I talked about it in my rant review. I just can't believe that they thought interrupting someone else's wedding like that would be well received by anybody but hardcore Olicity stans and Olicity shippers. And I'm not talking about like the casual fans that don't have a problem with it, like me. I'm talking about the people that literally believe that that relationship can do no wrong. What's up, Aardvark Banana? So we went into Crisis knowing that West Allen was a thing. They made an official poster for it. It was talked about in the description of the event itself. Like I said, I went into Crisis knowing that by the time we end it, Barry and Iris were probably going to be married. I did not expect Felicity to interrupt their wedding vows to do a double wedding. And I kept thinking, the more I thought about it, I was like, I really can't believe that she did that. Felicity and Iris aren't even really that close, which is kind of the weird part about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Iris has closer friends in Central City than her and Felicity are as far as, as friends go. So I'm just wondering why they felt that was appropriate during the episode to force Felicity to interrupt Barry and Iris's nuptials, And it actually made me facepalm because I'm like, they could have waited. It would have been a completely different scene had they waited until Barry and Iris said I do, and then Felicity and Oliver decided to get married. It would have still been sort of trying to share the spotlight, but it would have been less like that was really rude. Johnny Boy Blaze, that was messed up what Felicity did. If you played by look at Iris' face, she was like, I'm about to say. Yeah, I mean, it was very like, man. I'm not sure, like, again, what they were trying to do with that, but it came across very, very, very rushed and completely rude, not thoughtful at all. Yeah, the next episode, they're having their own wedding reception. So here's my thing. If they wanted to do this Olicity thing and they were determined on doing it, they could have had it so Oliver and Felicity had this little argument where Felicity says, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. And we follow through with that. Then we go back to Arrow and we spend time on Arrow building up to Felicity and Oliver, redesigning their relationship in a way to lead to them to get married. Because now it's going to feel very strange. They're going to come back and they're going to be married. And he's just going to go, William, by the way, this is your new mom, Felicity. I know you love her. And of course, William will probably be like, yay, whatever. But that's so strange to me. Plus the fact that it seems like Iris and Barry decided to have like all their family and friends there with them. And Felicity and Oliver just eloped basically. So I don't understand it. It was very, very strange. It was almost like they wanted to go for drama and controversy and did not care whether or not it made sense. Iris's job is running Team Flash, apparently. It would have made more sense for Iris to leave with Joe and Cecile and come back later. It would have been nice to see Joe at the end. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I totally agree with that. The way they framed that shot. Okay, so yet again, at the end of Legends, in the crossover, the Legends were not present. The last 5 minutes of Legends of Tomorrow were about the Flash and Arrow. Because even Supergirl left. The same thing happened last year. If I remember correctly, at the end of Legends last year for Invasion, it was Barry and Oliver sitting at a bar talking. Is that right? So yet again, we do that with the shows this season, or this crossover, by ending it with Flash and Arrow. And no one else, they didn't bother with Barry being able to run fast. He could have literally ran everybody together to have Joe there, Cecile there, Wally there. They could have grabbed William. They could have had the wedding straight on. What's going to happen when they go back to Star City and the FBI agent finds out that they got married? It's so weird. What's up, Debbie? How are you? We've been live for about 30 minutes now. Posted it on Twitter. And if you have my notifications turned on, you should have gotten a notification, but it's YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, we talked about Andrew Kreisberg, Justice League versus Crisis on Earth X, and now we're talking about the Felicity and Iris wedding thing. Okay, so all that's done. If you're watching this on playback, these subjects are going goodbye. Now it's just free chat. Now we're going to talk about whatever. I will chat with you guys for a little bit about random stuff. Plus, I have some possibly spoilerific stuff that I found about Flash or about Arrow's mid-season finale. And we can talk about it if you want. I can give you guys the dirt if you guys want to know. Because it could be fake. It could be completely false. Or it could be true. What's up, Augusta? How are you doing? Yep, Donna Smoke is coming back. That is true. Preston, how are you? So everybody's sort of... Okay, so if you don't want Arrow spoilers, you can stop the video now. Okay, so I cannot speak to the credibility of this, but I can say that every time I have received this information, it has been right. So we're going to do it, all right? If you don't want spoilers, mute now. Okay, so of course, we're going to have the wedding reception during the mid-season finale. Donna Smoke is going to be there, but luckily it doesn't seem like she's playing a big part in the episode. She's just there to be there for the wedding reception. Now we know that there is a mole on Team Arrow, and we find out that it is Renee. Renee is the mole, Wild Dog is the mole, and he's doing it because the FBI has put pressure on him that he will not see his daughter ever again if he does not comply. Let me put this up here real quick. We're going to do this. So if anybody comes in. So supposedly that is what happens. And they don't like skate around it. You know what I mean? They don't skate around that issue. Apparently he comes clean in the episode. Apparently Renee comes clean in the episode. He tells the rest of the team. And so it becomes OG Team Arrow versus New Generation Team Arrow. And Oliver starts splitting the team up that way. And they have missions. They're dealing with some stuff with Caden James. Supposedly, Caden James kidnaps William. Been there, done that. Supposedly, he kidnaps William. He gets Black Siren to go kidnap William to force Oliver to come to him to go ahead and deal with some drama with Caden James. All while this stuff is going on with Renee. So they have to deal with Black Siren, who's going to kidnap William for Caden James. Renee is the one that's the mole for the team. And at the end of the episode, supposedly we're going all the way back to season 4, where the team splits up. Team Arrow splits up at the end of the midseason finale, and we're left with Oliver and Felicity and Diggle. The rest of the team just leaves. Dinah leaves, Renee leaves, Curtis leaves. I don't know how I feel about this, because this seems like it's exactly the same path that we took last season, with someone on the team being the mole, being a turncoat for whatever reason, someone kidnapping Oliver's son. Oh, Preston, that's the thing. Supposedly, all of the other villains are working for Caden James. Richard Dragon, Anatoly, Black Siren, all those characters are supposedly working either with or for Caden James. Again, I cannot speak to the credibility of this. This could actually be complete nonsense, but it sounds to me like it could be real. And like I said, the information where I pull information from all over the place, this could possibly be legit, because the information, the place that I received this from, or the people that have talked about it, are people that have told me stuff that has actually happened in the past. So, it seems like that's what they're doing. And if that's actually what happens, I'm going to be really disappointed. Nope. Apparently Richard Dragon works with Caden James, or works for Caden James. Hello, Ryan. How are you doing? How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about them taking storylines from previous seasons and just recycling them? Yeah, Debbie, it is. It is. It totally is. Augusta, I'm excited about Black Lightning 2. I like what I've seen so far. Once we get an official trailer, like a legit trailer, because right now I've only seen teasers. I don't know if there is an official trailer yet. Once we get one, I'll probably do a video reaction to that. Do I think we're still going to have a Flash and Supergirl crossover next year? Yes. As long as the shows are on the air, I think we will have a crossover. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Exactly. Wally West. I think this may be the last season for Wally. I think this may be his last season. If Ralph Dibny stays on past season 4, I actually think Wally will probably either be sent to another show or he'll go away altogether. Ren, it's been going for about 35 minutes. But we're still, I'm going to stay on for a while. I'm not leaving right now. Exactly, Mongoose. Exactly. It sounds just like that. Johnny Boy Blaze. The show is getting canceled. I'm rewatching season 2 to fulfill my happiness. Do I think that Arrow is going to get canceled? If Arrow stays above 1 million viewers every week, I don't think they have to worry. If they start to dip under 1 million or kind of hover around 1 million, I would say it's time to start thinking about what they're going to do with the show. Debbie, that's a good point. They could be. My biggest thing is I would hate for Arrow to go out on a down note. You know what I mean? I would prefer them to say season 7 is the final season and like give us some really like concrete stuff. So yeah. So Mark Guggenheim is double down. He double downs on everything, and he doesn't seem to care. I've seen interviews with him on YouTube where he does not care about fan reception. He just doesn't seem to care. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Ragu. If Amel is contracted, they could probably rework his contract and use him on other properties. You know what I mean? Like they could move him over to a team up show, like a group show, and do something like that, or they could use him on Flash or something like along those lines. I think they would try and push out the show as long as they can. What's up, Savage Reviews? Hello, Scarlet Speed Force. How are you doing? You guys just got the notification. Thank you, YouTube, for sending out notifications 36 minutes after I went live. That's awesome. It's okay, you guys. I'm not leaving yet. I've been live for 36 minutes, so we can sit and talk a bit more. If you missed the other topics, or if you want to ask questions about the other topics, I can still talk about those, but I gave a lot of info at the beginning of this live stream. So, thank you, Johnny Boy Blaze. Hello, Wayne Pylon. How are you doing? Everybody just got a notification. I love it. Okay, so everybody got a notification. So we'll go ahead and yes, you guys just got the notification. You missed everything. You missed it all. But how crazy is that? Yes, 36 minutes. I've been live for 36 minutes. Hello, everybody. Okay, so for all the people that have already been here, okay, we'll go back over this stuff real briefly, okay? So let's go back to topic number 1, Andrew Kreisberg. I don't have the stuff to pull up anymore, but Andrew Kreisberg has been officially fired by Warner Brothers. They have cut ties with him completely. He's out the door. This takes all of his stories and everything with him. So everything that Andrew Kreisberg had planned for the shows, everything that Andrew was going to do, has to leave with him, unless it's been put on paper and he's already been paid for it. So, yes, he was fired less than 24 hours after the Crisis on Earth X. They cannot use his ideas unless they're on paper. And let me tell you why. Because anything that Andrew did, anything that Andrew has done for the show, unless it's already been scripted and on paper and in the process of being produced, where his name can be credited for it, they cannot use it. So this means anything on The Flash or anything on Supergirl that he did not write on paper cannot be used. Now, they did not specify why he was fired. He had 19 counts of misconduct at work. And when I say misconduct, I mean, there were so many different things. There was not just one thing that you could say he was let go for. He was put on leave. Right. He was put on leave after 19 counts. They took 3 weeks and now they have officially fired him. And I said 3 weeks ago, he's probably not going to get fired until after Crisis because of the fact that he wrote with Mark Guggenheim the whole Crisis event. Yeah, Preston. That was why they officially fired him. But the investigation initially was over like 19 different things. So he's gone. He's out. Greg Berlanti, who is the guy at the top of the food chain, is taking over for the time being with Supergirl, the co-showrunners for Supergirl and The Flash, until they find somebody to replace him. My idea with what I think is going to happen is they will promote somebody from within the company, somebody that's already been working on the properties. I would not be surprised if the current showrunners, the ones that were working with them, don't get promoted, because it seems like the best way for them to do it. But we'll have to see. We're going to see what happens with that. Yeah, Guggenheim has more stuff going on than any of them right now. So I expect that the tone of Flash is going to change drastically in the back half of the season. We're probably going to see... we're probably going to see a major change in Flash. Supergirl, probably not so much. Supergirl's tone is pretty consistent with that show, whereas Flash, they were trying something different. So we may see that comedic stuff disappear in the back half of the season. I also talked about Crisis on Earth X versus Justice League, but we're going to jump over that because that was just sort of like a little fun article. No, I have not talked about Infinity War yet. We also talked about the wedding. Well, I should probably say spoilers again. If you're in the show right now and you did not watch the end of Crisis, spoilers. We talked about the wedding at the end of Crisis where Felicity interrupted Iris and Barry. And how there's so many articles out there. I pulled up one of them where they're saying that it was just like the worst thing ever. That Felicity... Hello, Amir. How are you doing? Yeah, Amir, that's a good question. I'm doing a video about Reverse Flash, so I'm working on that right now. I'm writing out my notes for it. What do you guys think? Do you think that it was very rude for Felicity to interrupt Barry and Iris? Because it seems like most people do, except for the Olicity stans. Not fans. You can be a fan of Olicity. You can be a fan of Felicity. The Olicity stans, the one that go crazy on social media. Hello, Dr. Cringe. Hello, Sonic. How are you doing? Thea is your favorite Arrow character. Because of things going on Earth 53. Harvester, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Yeah, I'm still processing Stein's death. I'm still processing it. So somebody was asking if I think Supergirl will become less political with Andrew Kreisberg gone. Supergirl has 3 showrunners. They've got Andrew Kreisberg and then 2 other co-showrunners that work with him. So I'm not sure which one of those individuals wanted to put their political stuff into Supergirl. So it's quite possible it could go away with Andrew if he was like the main catalyst for that. But if it wasn't just him, if it was also the other people that he works with, then it's possible that they were the ones pushing their viewpoints on people through the show. So I don't know. We may see it leave, we may not. Let's see. Naruto says, Reverse Flash saying he fought Superman. Is that confirmed Superman is on Earth? What did you say? Earth 53? I'm kind of curious if there is a Superman. There has to be one on Earth 53, or there had to be one on Earth 53. As far as like Earth 1, I was kind of confused about that in general. Like, I was kind of confused when he said that. I'm like, does that mean Superman's on Earth 1? Compose my theme song? Absolutely. How are the Legends going to use Jax now that Stein is gone? Are they going to make him a different superhero or something? I don't think Jax will get any powers unless they use it as a plot. I think Jax will just be Jax. He'll be a mechanic on the ship because they had trouble affording Firestorm to begin with. So, yeah. Debbie, that's funny. How is the Reverse Flash alive? That's a good question. I'm doing a video about it. I did a video way back when season 2 of Legends started, talking about how Reverse Flash coming to Legends didn't really make any sense. And it all stems to what happened in season 1 of The Flash. So anytime we see the Reverse Flash, who... It's not like somebody's car alarm is going off outside. Anytime we see a Reverse Flash that did not, or that went through the process of season 1, it's impossible for him to be there. So it has to be a time remnant or something along those lines. Hello, Karen. How are you doing? Jax the Man Spider. I think Caramel could be a problem for the season, simply because it looks like they're setting up a love triangle. And what kind of bugs me about that, because I'm not big on relationship stuff, but what kind of bugs me about it from a storytelling standpoint is we had just gotten to a point at the end of season 2 where Kara and Mon-El were in a somewhat good place, and then we come back to this. So, yeah, we're going to see what happens with that. A Smallville crossover would be pretty cool, Sonic. By the way, a lot of people have asked me about Smallville. I've decided that I'm going to do 3 season overviews for Smallville during the break. So it will allow me to continue to make content for you guys while the shows are on break. So in December and January, look forward to at least 3 more Smallville season overviews. I love Reverse Flash. Okay, so Time Remnants, from what I understand, is a future version of the speedsters. So you run ahead in time, you talk to a version of yourself slightly ahead, that future version comes back with you, and then they sacrifice themselves. Since they're a future version of you, by sacrificing themselves, they literally change the past so that they don't have to sacrifice themselves. It's very confusing, but that's what I get from a Time Remnant. What's up, Latricia? How are you doing? Mark, I started reading it, and then I had some stuff to do today. I'll read it tonight, and I'll message you back. I do appreciate you taking the time to send that to me. Yes, Johnny boy, I remember that. Yeah, Amir, it is odd how Leo did that. But I believe that it's only because he's filling in space in the next 2 episodes. I think he's in 9 and 10 only. Is that right? 9 and 10? I think so. Wait. Yeah. Well, 9, this past one, and 10. Yeah, he's not going to be in for the rest of the season. Any word on Constantine? We know he's coming back when the mid-season, when the spring premieres come back, like in late January. I believe it's like the 2nd, maybe 3rd week in January when the shows come back. So, yeah. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Yes, you heard about Andrew Kreisberg, Kayla. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Why do I think people do not like Olicity? Okay, so there's a lot of people that don't like it because they don't like Felicity. That's the number one thing. There's people that have told me they don't like it because they don't see chemistry between Oliver and Felicity. And there's some people like myself who they don't mind it. They just don't like when it's the total focus of the show. And so there's probably a lot of different things. Plus, there's a certain subsection of Olicity fans that come in and literally attack people all the time on social media. So that doesn't really help it either. And it's hard. I mean, people hold that against the actors and stuff, but they don't really have control over that. But at the same time, it's like, what are they going to do? You know, how would they would have to perpetuate some sort of stigma about it. And I don't think that the studio wants them to do that. Legends is going to be delayed. 11169AR1. Legends will be delayed. Legends is coming back much later than the rest of the shows. Black Lightning will premiere in place of Legends on Tuesday nights. I don't know if you guys saw my video about this. When the shows come back in the spring, Black Lightning will be taking Legends' place. Now, Black Lightning is also a short season, which means that it's not going to have as many episodes as the rest of the shows. Yes, Mark, everyone join my Discord. If you're not part of it, I will post a link to it in the info box for this video after it processes. So if you want to join the Discord and chat with me and all these other guys about the shows, you'll be able to do that. So they are moving Legends to another night. As of right now, we don't know what night that is. But that really sucks because Legends is doing really good on Tuesdays. And when I say really good, their ratings have been consistent more than any other show. They have been consistent every single week. Eric, is Smallville part of the multiverse? Of course, Sonic. Of course. They mentioned Chloe in Midvale on Supergirl, so I think there is a chance it's part of the multiverse. I would love that. Was it ever explained how Ray got on Earth X? No, Joshua, it was not. However, I'm going to assume that there was a breach, maybe when the breaches were happening back in season 1 and season 2, of The Flash, that he possibly got sucked in through a breach. I don't know. Okay, I'm a bit confused about Captain Cold. I thought it was Wentworth's last time playing Captain Cold. Did I get that mixed up? It is his last time. This particular season. Like, after the crossover, and he plays him again in the next, 1, maybe 2 episodes. After that, he's done. He's not re-upping his contract. Now, that doesn't mean he can't come back in a guest spot. Of course, they could always bring him back just for one episode. But he is not re-upping his contract with the multi-show contract that he had with them. Dr. Cringe, I only did this so late tonight because this is my normal time after the shows come on live. Sometimes I stream on the weekends during the daytime with the other guys. We do like a 4-show crossover thing. And during the break, I'll probably stream during the daytime also, since there'll be no shows to review. So I'll be on different times of the week. I'll probably come up with a schedule for it, so that way you guys can come in and see me if it's better in your time zone. How long am I going to be live streaming for? Probably another 15 minutes. Speedsters are too overpowered, and Wally is underused. The Originals, Kyle. I've never watched that show. I might binge watch it, though. Barry got stronger, so how you need Wally without a speedster villain? That's true, Phil. That's true. I know a lot of people like myself would love to see Wally somewhere else where he could grow as a character. But I don't know if they have any plans for that. I think this may be the last season for Wally, which would suck. But Arrow question. Who is the actual big bad this season? Rumor has it Caden James is the big bad. But Caden James has a bunch of other characters working for him. Anatoly, Richard Dragon, Black Siren, they're all sort of working together with Caden James. So the word on the street is Caden James is going to be the big bad for the season. Yes, Cody, absolutely. Victor, who's going to die on Arrow? I don't know. You got to wake up at 5 a.m. Oh, well, are you in the USA, Dr. Cringe? Watch Vampire Diaries before the originals. Okay, so anybody that watches those shows, how many episodes of Vampire Diaries or how many seasons of Vampire Diaries do I watch before I go to the originals? Riverdale. So I talked about this on Twitter and I asked people if I should watch it. And it was kind of unanimous. People said I should be watching Riverdale. So I'm going to catch up with season 1 on Netflix during the break. I'll probably do a season overview of that. And then I will start catching up on season 2 after I do season 1. And then I may incorporate it into a review. So yeah, it's possible. Kyle, is the Thinker going to catch Reverse Flash the season finale and use him? I would love that. I would love that. Sonic. Okay, so Sonic, that's a great question. Eric, do you think the Flash, all the Leah timelines still exist in the Flash, just abandon those timelines? Okay, I have talked about this before. All right? I've talked about this before. But I want to talk about it again because I love that. And the reason why I love that is because I honestly believe that we are watching the show through the eyes of R. Barry Allen. And R. Barry Allen, when he leaves a timeline to change it, he does not erase that timeline. He diverges from that timeline. And the best example I can give from that is, imagine at the end of season 2, when Barry is on the porch with Iris, they're kissing, everything is pretty much good except for the fact that both of his parents are gone at that point, and he decides to run back and save his parents. I imagine what actually happens at that point is when Barry runs away and goes back in time and changes the past, what he does is he creates a divergent timeline that branches off from that point. Then when he runs back ahead, our Barry, the one that we know, is stuck in that divergent timeline that he's created. The previous timeline still exists. But what I would imagine would happen is Iris walks into the house, she walks back outside, and Barry's gone. They live out the rest of their lives in that timeline without Barry Allen. That's what I think happens. That the timelines just keep diverging like a fan. Because when Jay Garrick sat down with Barry and he was explaining that time is like this mug with cracks in it and you can never get back to what it was, the reason why he's saying that is you can't run sideways through time. Meaning you can't go from one timeline to another backwards. You can only diverge from the one you're in. And I think that's what actually happens. That's my personal theory. I know it can't be proved. I know it's something that's just outside the box, but it would explain how Savitar was able to pull memories from Flashpoint, because that timeline still existed. So the Speed Force was able to give him access to that timeline because it was literally the timeline that occurred right before the one we were in. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. What have I been drinking? I don't know. But that's what I've always thought, that the timelines still exist, but Barry just moves through timelines. Yes, that could explain how the Reverse Flash is still alive. Absolutely. I have watched The Punisher. I did a season overview of The Punisher. I've tried to upload it to YouTube 5 different times. Every single time, YouTube restricts it. 18 and above only. And it will not share out to my viewers. Meaning that if I upload it, it will hardly anyone that watches my channel will get to see it. So it's violent content and it's been flagged. The minute I put Punisher in the title of anything, all my Marvel mega videos, the reason why I had to basically back off from doing those was anytime I put the Punisher in it, restricted. They would not allow it. They basically denied it every single time. Would I like to see the original timeline? Absolutely. I would love to see the original timeline. But unfortunately, the show we're watching now is the Barry that we met in the second timeline. Get lit. My favorite Marvel show is probably a tie between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil. Probably. But Runaways is really good. And I've actually been working on a Runaways video, and I'm going to start reviewing it every single week starting next week. But I'm going to do a catch-up video between now and Tuesday. Gifted is the same way. Gifted got flagged. Fox doesn't like reviews, okay? I'll be completely honest with you guys. Both Gifted and Gotham would get flagged immediately. Immediately. I would upload it and it would stay flagged for days and days and days. Restricting views, restricting platforms, restricting age groups. And so I got to the point where I was just tired of doing it. Because it's like, I keep doing this, I'm working on these videos, and then the minute I upload them, they would get restricted. So that's why. But I am going to do a Gifted catch-up video as well. What I might do is I might just review the whole season of Gifted. That way I can put it in hold until they lift the restriction and then let it go live. That'll probably be what I do, because there's only one episode of Gifted left. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the most underrated Marvel show. I absolutely agree. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an excellent show, and you cannot judge it based on season 1. Runaways. Marvel Runaways is on Hulu. I don't know what it's on in the UK, but it's on Hulu. It's a Hulu and Marvel combo, like Netflix and Marvel's properties. And it's about a group of kids who come from very wealthy families, and the wealth of their families is directly tied to their story. So I would definitely check it out. It's very, very good. Yeah, Karen, the CW shows are really the only one. Well, no, I'll talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ABC and Netflix, they aren't very restrictive. Punisher was restrictive because of its violent content. I love The Gifted. If you go back and you watch like my episodes 1 through 5 reviews of The Gifted, I loved it. I still love it. It's such a hassle to have to, it's just a hassle. Wait a minute. What is, who is arguing with who here? Yeah, it's not, we'll get back to this, guys. With the money thing, and I'm not going to talk about it here because YouTube doesn't like to talk about it. I do this as a hobby. I have a regular job. I run a business outside of this. I don't do this, I'm not doing this to blow up and start making a living off of YouTube content. My complaint is when it gets restricted, it restricts it on views. When they take ads off of videos, they stop advertising them. They start restricting them by age. They start restricting them by location. They start restricting them by platform. And it makes it impossible for that video to grow. So it's not really about that for me. It's just the fact that if content is deemed restricted, it doesn't matter if it's monetized or not. So yeah, I would love to have to be able to support this space. I built this space for YouTube, but at the same time, it's not just that. That's not the defining factor of it. But it's true. I mean, even with consistent views, people at my level, I can't imagine someone at my level making a living off of YouTube. I'm going to post the Discord in the info box of this video once it's processed. So you guys can come back. You don't have to watch the video again. Just come back and go into the info box and you'll be able to click the link there. Actually, I might be able to post it here. Let me open up Discord here in front of me while we're chatting and see if I can get the link. Because I might be able to. Invite people. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's on my Twitter as well. But here you go. That is the Discord link. It's set for 1 day. So if you want to join, you have to join very soon. It will reset. Do you see some sort of Agents of Field type show on future Disney streaming service? Demir, I believe that if Disney streaming service takes off, we will see a lot of Marvel and Star Wars shows on that actual platform. I'm not going to talk about smashing or passing any of the girls or anyone in the Arrowverse on a live stream and have YouTube come in and go, nope, restricted, 18 and plus, 18 only. Not going to do that. You think we're watching the last season of Arrow? We could be, but Stephen Amell's got a contract. They would have to pay him out for remaining seasons if they end the show early, because he's the only one under contract for that long. See you later, Victor. Will DC streaming service ruin the CW? No, because not everyone's going to pay for that. CW will be free for people that have access to cable. I'm going to be doing a video about the Infinity War trailer, but not a trailer reaction because I don't want to make fake reactions. I've watched the trailer like 50 times already. So I'll probably do a video talking about my thoughts on the trailer. Is Cecile having a boy? If so, what are the chances of Joe naming him Daniel? If Joe names him Daniel, that would be a huge fan Easter egg. Look like a babe with glasses. Well, these are my new glasses. Do you guys remember a couple of, I guess it was about a month and a half ago, my other gaming glasses broke? Well, I ordered some new ones. These are my new ones that I use because I spend a lot of time in front of the computer. So these are really good when you're sitting in front of the computer. It takes a lot of stress off your eyes. Okay, Giovanni, share that with me on Twitter or wherever. It would be awesome. Johnny Boy Blaze, there are a lot of people that do fake reaction videos, and I can tell every time I watch them. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be known as the guy that makes fake reaction videos. Any word on the new Titan show? Other than casting, I haven't seen anything like big in terms of that, J-Rod. Swag money. How many seasons will The Flash last for? I would say 5 to 7. More likely, the thing is, Flash is the highest watched show on the CW, so it's quite possible it could go on as long as Supernatural, as long as the actors and the people involved want to keep doing it. Yes, Ren, I believe they are. I believe they are. Hey, Tom Masters, how are you doing? Do I think Malice will have his identity revealed? Not before the mid-season. You can't view the Discord? I don't know why. There's like 30 or 40 people in there. You thought all the reactions were most likely fake? There's a lot of them that are. How many timelines are there? That's a crazy question. Right now, we're probably at like close to 10, I think. We've had a lot of time travel. Thoughts on Wally? Underused and underappreciated. That's my thoughts on Wally. J-Rod, I'm actually working at a club when the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes on, and it's 2 hours, which means is it 8 to 11 my time? Yeah, I won't even be home until 2 a.m. So I'll probably do a live stream on Saturday for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Would you guys be cool with that? Like a Saturday afternoon live stream? Come in and talk for like an hour or so about the show. Because I am going to do a rant and review for it. So I won't be able to do it right after the show, but I could do one on Saturday. See, Kayla, it's got to be one of the two of those characters. A lot of people think it's Dawn, but I mean, they could take Jenny's character and turn her into Dawn Allen. Because they combine a lot of stuff. So let's see. Why did they change the day for Agents? Well, Maltor, ABC wanted to cancel the show because it was not getting like the huge numbers. It's consistent, but it wasn't blowing things out of the water. And Disney and Marvel stepped in and said, this season has to happen. So this could be the last season of Agents. Or they could move Agents to the Disney streaming app. They could move it to Netflix. They could move it to Hulu. Chances are if they move it anywhere other than Netflix or Disney, it would be Hulu. Because Hulu already puts Agents on the day after it airs. So yeah, I would say the reason why they moved it is because they're trying to ABC put it on a night where they don't put like new programming. Inhumans season 2 yet? No word on that. I'm actually on cancellation watch for Inhumans to see if they're actually going to cancel it. Wally, Laurel, Ray, Nate Wynn. Well, the thing is, Call Me Amino, that's because they have too many characters. They've got too many. I don't know why they have so many characters on these shows. They're all full of character bloat. Did I like the Inhumans? The Inhumans to me was, if you watched my reviews of it, you'll know that I was very disappointed with the show. I would not mind seeing a season 2 if they got a new showrunner, got rid of Scott Buck, and did not film in Hawaii. If they could accomplish those things, I think I would be okay with seeing a season 2. If you could make Wally's side story, what would you make? Oh, wow. Well, they've taken so many stories that Wally had from the comics and they've already used them within the show. Without him taking over for Barry, I can't think of any side story that they could give him that would be meaningful. Unless they take him off the Flash and put him somewhere else. Like, I would love to see Wally travel to the future, maybe in Legends, and meet up with other speedsters. Maybe get some cool tech, maybe get a new costume, something like that. That would be kind of cool. What was better, Powerless or Inhumans? Oh, gosh. Preston. Inhumans by leaps and bounds. Powerless is the worst piece of crap I'd ever seen. I have not read Doomsday Clock yet. It's on my tablet. I bought it and downloaded it, but I have not watched it or have not read it. I've got it on Comixology. At this point, I don't want Inhumans to cross over with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I can't say I blame you. I kind of feel the same way. I'm sorry if I'm missing question, guys. I'm sorry if I'm missing your questions. Young Justice for Wally. That would be cool. Titans Wally would be cool. You feel like Wally had his powers a bit too early? See, Wally was added as a plot device. And once that plot was over with, they don't know what to do with him. Just like with the whole Savitar thing. That was given to him to give him something to do. I'm excited for Black Panther as well. Even more so now that I've seen the Infinity War trailer. You missed that part of the video. If you want to go back at the very beginning of video, the first like 25 minutes, we talk about that. But I personally like Crisis better than Justice League. But that was because there was a lot of factors why. But I did like it better than Justice League. Nothing wrong with Justice League. I enjoyed Justice League too. My favorite cereal would be Honeycombs. See you later, Naruto. Who do I think Malice is? I have no clue really. And I kind of like that because Legends really is the mystery show this season. I think Malice, because of his obsession with characters who have possessed totems, I'm thinking he may be tied to Amaya, to Vixen, and to her story. So it's quite possible he may have been like the original person that possessed the totems. Maybe he's trying to consolidate all of them again, sort of like Thanos is doing with the Infinity Gauntlet to give himself like massive amounts of power. Malice's Zoom. See you later, Chess Master. You can't find me or Paigey on Discord? That's so weird. My Discord is pretty, like, I'm pretty available there. Paigey hates the idea of Wally going to Legends. We've talked about that before. Me and Paigey disagree on a lot of stuff. We talk about this stuff constantly. I think Wally would be great on Legends only because it would give him a chance to have his own story. But he thinks Wally would be overpowered on Legends. And I can't disagree with that. I cannot. Wally would be overpowered on Legends. Absolutely. Jesse Quick, forgotten. Like Maxwell Lord, forgotten. I don't know. I don't know. Jesse Quick is running her Team Flash over on Earth 2. So I don't know what's going on with Jesse Quick. Well, we know that Roy's coming back in the back half of the season, which is kind of cool. Well, see, Carrie, that's what I think. I think since all the totems, with the exception of Amaya's, it seems like the other totems are all elemental totems. I think if you combine them all together, you would have control over all the elements. So I think that's kind of what's going on. Again, I'm just kind of throwing things out there. I don't know for sure. Yeah, you found my Discord. Well, go ahead. You can go ahead and join the DC Multiverse Discord. Do the animated DC shows relate to the Arrowverse shows? Are they worth watching? I think DC's animated is leaps and bounds above anybody else's. I love the DC animated universe. I love their movies. I love their TV shows. They're definitely worth watching, in my opinion. Why is it cool that Roy is coming back? Because I like Roy. I think Roy's a great character, especially when he came back last season, I believe. And he just seemed like, Colton Haynes seemed like a much better actor. I don't know what changed as far as like that goes, but I really enjoyed him when he came back. So I would love to see him come back again. Who do I think would win, Superman or the Flash? Well, let's look at Superboy Prime, who was dope and very OP. Who was it that sealed him away and basically defeated him at that point in time? It was the Flash, right? So, I mean, you could argue live action Justice League show. I'm waiting I'll reserve my right to answer that question after we see how the Teen Titans show. When do you think the MCU will get an almost complete reboot? Also, are we getting a new Wolverine? RJ Rock. The MCU. So I've heard, what I've read is Kevin Feige has talked about Phase 4. And he said that Phase 4, if they reveal anything about Phase 4 other than titles, specifics and things like that, it would give away too much. And they're saying that after Avengers 4, which is the second Infinity War movie, that everything is going to change. So I'm anticipating whatever changes are going to happen, they're going to happen during the first and second Infinity War movie. So, Eric, last question. Does the Legends remember the old or new time? Well, I've always wondered when Legends are flying through the time stream, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't it stated in the first season, was it just the vanishing point, or was it the time stream that existed without reflecting damages done to time? Because if you think about it, if you're part of the time, like I guess the Wave Rider, the Time Bureau now and whatnot, if you were affected by changes in time, then you couldn't do your job. So I always assumed that the vanishing point and the time stream was sort of outside of normal time, so that they would not be affected by changes in time. But we've seen them being affected by changes in time. So it's a very confusing thing. I would assume that they should remember things the way they happened, because if they didn't, they couldn't do their job. So that's always kind of bugged me. Technically, they should not forget things, but within the show, it happens all the time. Did you have a problem with Kara pulling out the kryptonite? Yes, I did. I thought that was kind of silly. Miles Morales. I can't wait for the animated feature. I thought it was supposed to come out this year. Maybe it's next year. Superman has to be the worst person to write for. Phil, I've talked about this before. I made videos about it like 2 years ago. Superman is like the iconic like superhero archetype. And it's so hard to nail down his personality because he is so predictable usually. But there's been great Superman stories over the years. If you go back and you look at the comics, there's plenty of them that I can point to that I thought Superman was very different from the way he's supposed to be, or the way he was originally written. But when it comes to live action, yes, I would say it's probably extremely hard to write that character. I loved Man of Steel because I liked that version of Superman, but I can imagine it's probably really hard to write for that character. Even in the early seasons of Smallville, I felt like Clark Kent was very wooden, and I didn't know if it was just the acting or if it was the actual writing, which he eventually opens up a little bit. But yes, Superman is probably a really hard character to write for because it's really hard to create tension for a character as powerful as Superman in general. Eric, do you think we'll see other 3 world killers in season 3 of Supergirl? I think we may see the like more than one world killer, but I don't think it'll happen until sort of maybe towards the end of the season. Do I think the Scarlet Witch will have a bigger storyline? I think she's going to get a huge storyline in Infinity War. So I would look forward to that. Dr. Cringe, that's what bothers me. How is it that when Barry goes back in time, he erases or diverses from the time level? When the Legends do it, nothing happens. I've complained about time travel in Legends for a very long time, which is why I said it's hard for me to nitpick the show, because I feel like there are fundamentally things wrong with Legends that have to be fixed before you can really talk about stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with you. Eric, do you get pissed off when CW and Justice League play it off like Supergirl and Superman? Yes, I do. It's been said time and time again in the comics that the Flash is way faster than Superman and Supergirl. That was funny, Amir. Who's my favorite Vixen, Amaya or Mari? Ryan, that's kind of tough because we spent so much time with Amaya. But I think I like Amari better. Or Mari. Say Amari, Amaya, Amari. Could there be a new Firestorm Matrix with Jason Rush and more? No, Kayla. I don't think we're going to see another Firestorm unless it's something to do with Jax. He's too expensive of a character. And with Stein gone, I just don't see it. I don't see them going back and doing anything with that. Unless we see them on another Earth. I mean, that's possible. Cool, Cody. I didn't know that. Time travel does not apply the more you do it. Yeah, because that makes so much sense. Yeah, I remember PK Baby, the scene where he was running and then he turned around. He had on those big wide Jinko jeans. You guys remember Jinko jeans? They also had Kick jeans. I think they're both like were the ones with the wide legs. And he turns around and he's like walking backwards with those jeans on and then he just takes off. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know. For some reason, his pants from that scene stood out to me, which I thought was pretty funny. Do 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 do. Okay, that's fine, Nick. That'll be fine. Like you can see Professor's daughter joining Legends. That could happen. See, Karen, with enough momentum, you create strength. Power is equal to lots of different things when it comes to the damage you can do. And speed is something that you can use to create power. So, yeah. Can I DJ live sometimes, please? I've done it before. I can't do it on YouTube because you'll get hit with copyright claims. I could do it on, there's a thing called MixLR, if it's still around. Actually, this is really funny. I have in my studio here. Does anybody remember these? Before MP3s and MP4s, we had CDs. This is one of my CD folders for DJing, which is full of CDs. I have so many of them here. Yeah, a lot of these are really, really, really old stuff. I have a remix CD for 1979 Smashing Pumpkins. It's a bunch of mixes for that. You guys remember this song? Stardust. Music sounds better. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff up here. So yeah, I wouldn't mind DJing sometime. I can't do it on YouTube though. They would not let me. I don't even think I could do it on Facebook, to be honest with you. But yeah, I could do that. I could do that for you guys. I use vinyl as well. I have turntables and everything set up in the other room. Logan review. You guys want me to do a Logan review because you want to hear what I have to say about Logan. My opinions about Logan are not favorable. And I know people want to, like, some people want to hear me talk about that, and other people, like, would probably get angry with me. I'll do a Logan review. Yeah, I'll do a Logan review eventually. I'll probably do it live though. What do I think is going on with Caitlyn? Her and Killer Frost both becoming more accepting of each other now that you see like a personality merge. Ben, I don't know. I would love to see Caitlyn and Killer Frost sort of have like a Bruce Banner Hulk thing where they kind of understand each other, but they need to explain why they're two different characters. I wish we had some sort of explanation for it because we still don't. So, oh yeah, J-Rod. I shared that song on Twitter because so many people were asking me about it. Yeah, so MixLR, it's spelled like this, MixLR. If it's still around, I don't know if it is. I used to do live streams from there. Yeah, Frost was really compliant during the crossover. I'm curious to why she's changed though. Like we don't know. We have to understand who she is at the core before we can understand why she changed. What do you think about them never including Martian Manhunter in the crossovers? Logically, he is the head of the DEO. So, I mean, having him leave and go to Earth 1 would be kind of strange. Unless the crossovers took place on Earth, like if it took place on Earth 38 next year, like Supergirl's Earth, I would love that. Have all the characters come together on Earth 38 and face off against like a threat on that Earth. You have to pay for it? Let me double check it real quick. I don't remember. They may have changed. I don't know. Maybe you do now. I'll find a way to do it. Just stick with me, guys, and I will, if you want to hear me DJ live, I'll figure a way to do it. The Gifted is in the same timeline or the same convoluted timelines as the X-Men. But if Fox sells the X-Men back to Disney, I suspect we're going to get a consolidated timeline. Do you think we'll see Cyborg Superman anymore? Maybe, Gary. I think that was specifically for the plot point they were using last season. Supergirl tends to just forget about characters. So he may come back if they decide to use him later on. But actually, David Harewood, who plays those characters, said he hated that character. He flat out in an interview said that he hated Cyborg Superman. He said that he did not understand why he was called Cyborg Superman. He didn't understand the motivation of the character. He hated it. Hated it. So if it does come back, it will definitely be something. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, Ben, I remember that. But that was because those characters were combined personalities, right? I mean, it was because they were being combined with their versions from Flashpoint. At least that's what I thought was going on. I could be wrong. That was my takeaway from that. Well, yeah, Phil, because they want the main characters to stand out. All right, so I have been on for an hour and a half, and so I'm going to wrap it up. But if you guys come back to this video and you missed any of the stuff I talked about, it will all be at the beginning of the video. The first, half an hour is basically all the topics in order. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later on. I'm sorry about YouTube alerting you guys late. Make sure you turn on notifications for my channel if you don't already, because that may make a difference, but I don't know if it will. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to have my trailer reaction for the next episode of The Flash. And then later in the day, I will have a trailer reaction for one of the other shows. But my Flash trailer reaction will be up first thing in the morning. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Have a good evening, and I will catch you later.